Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Thursday, and we are going to cover some interesting developments going on and some interesting. I think we're gonna roll the Wheel of Fortune. So let's go ahead and get into our headlines so we can get started with the show. Today on Before Coffee. Spain's socialists reach a controversial deal with Catalan separatists for government backing.
And Techie Thursday will let AI-powered projector phone replace your regular phone.
Brain drain casts a dark shadow over Turkey's future.
And defends Trump's daughter testifies in civil fraud trial as we spin the Wheel of Fortune.
Hollywood actors strike ends as SAG-AFTRA and studios reach tentative deal.
Those stories and more, which is all Carl Sagan and Hedy Lamar's birthday, combined with being National Scrabble Day, November 9th, 2023, on Before Coffee.
Okay, our first news story. Breaking news! That's right, Spain has finally figured out how to make a government after all these elections and all these failures to get enough people or enough chairs to be an actual working government. This is by Merid Gwain-Jones and Euronews. Spain's Socialist Party, PSOE, has struck a deal with Catalan separatist party, Junts per Catalunya, that could pave the way for acting Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez to form a coalition government. In a draft version of the pact seen by Euronews, the parties say that despite their profound differences, Junts will offer, or I bet it's Junts because it's Spanish, will offer 7 of its votes back to Sanchez-led government in exchange for a controversial amnesty for Catalan politicians and activists who participated in a failed attempt at secession from Spain in 2017. July's inconclusive general election left no clear road to government for neither the right nor left-wing coalition, but with Junts' 7 votes, Sanchez can muster sufficient support to pass the 176 majority benchmark in an investiture vote. The pact has drawn fierce criticism from opposition parties, who accuse Sanchez of undermining the rule of law by absolving crimes including embezzlement and maladministration. I've never heard of that. I guess that's just being an admin badly. Malicious.
Weakened or
oh, so what the Republicans do.
yeah, maladjusted, like malcontent.
Violent protests have taken place in Spanish cities over the past few days. In a letter addressing... Oh, I clicked that by accident. In a letter addressed to the Spanish ministers on Wednesday, EU Justice Commissioner Didier Reynders requested more information on the possible amnesty law and serious concerns, saying the Commission had been contacted by a large number of citizens. In response, Spain's presidency minister Felix Bolaños said that the amnesty bill was a proposal from the parliamentary groups, and that the current caretaker status of the government prevented it from submitting bills to Parliament. Let's see this letter. Oh, it's on Twitter. It's in Spanish. Oh, here's the letter. Dear Minister Bolaños, Dear Minister Llop, the situation of the Council for the Judiciary is a long-standing issue that raises serious concerns and for which the Commission has called for solutions on multiple occasions. Firstly, there has been no progress on its renewal in spite of the urgency, and secondly, no steps have been taken to adapt the appointment procedure of its judge members taking into account European standards. The Commission must reiterate its call on all parties involved to implement the recommendations made in 2022 and 2023 Rule of Law reports. Following the parliamentary election in Spain, I am therefore writing to you to insist on the need to prioritize the situation of the Council for Judiciary and address it without delay. Furthermore, additional serious concerns were now being voiced as regards to ongoing discussions on the possible adoption of an amnesty law. While, for the time being, there is no formal proposal, this has become a matter of considerable importance in the public debate of the Commission has been contacted on this matter, including by a large number of citizens. I would therefore be grateful if you would provide me with more detailed information, notably as regards to the personnel, material, and temporal scope of the envisioned law. The Commission remains committed to monitoring and upholding the fundamental values of the Union in all member states and will continue to work with Spanish authorities to ensure respect for the rule of law. Yours faithfully, Diedler Reinders. Reinders. I don't know how to say that name. It's an interesting spelling. So that was the letter that the EU sent Spain saying, please make sure that we're not I don't know exactly why. I guess they're worried that if they give amnesty to people who did stuff that was bad in the government, that they'll just do the bad stuff in the government again. The protest they're talking about involved Madrid, where for the second night, Spain's socialist headquarters was attacked by protesters. I'm not exactly sure who's protesting. It doesn't say. It's just like several protesters went to Pedro Sanchez's area. Okay, here we go. They were holding Spanish flags, and some of them were self-identifying as Nazis. So, what we've learned here is that the alt-right or the far-right Vox Party is using populism in order to heaten up protesters so that they do something, dangerous to the current socialist party leader. So, totally normal. I'm sure that's totally normal. Okay. That's it. Your story. That's what's happening in Spain. Keep in mind, make sure you do your research and your story.
This week in techie news, we haven't done a lot of that this week, or any kind of science. A little political week. Here we are in ZDNet.com article written by, there's Sneaky flipped off, June Wan, reviews editor. Humane may be launching a $699 AI-powered projector to replace your phone. That's not the craziest part. There's one company that's truly embraced the ChatGPT AI/AI era. It's Humane, a secretive startup built by a super team of ex-Apple employees, including co-founders Imran Chaudhry and Bethany Poingyarno. The company, which has been drip-feeding teasers and mission statements over the past 4 years of its first-ever consumer product, is set to unveil the AI pin tomorrow, which means today. So today, what's a little more clear is how much the screenless AI wearable will cost and what some of its surface-level features are, thanks to documents obtained by The Verge. Supposedly, Humane's AI pin will cost $699, a little less than the flagship smartphones the company has sought to replace with its hand-projecting, voice-powered device. But wait, there's more. The AI pin will also require a $24 a monthly Humane subscription to access cellular data via T-Mobile's network with a phone number in tow, a cloud storage for photos and videos, and unlimited queries of its voice assistant that leverages AI models from Microsoft and OpenAI. Oof, how's that going to get installed? At a TED Talk in April, Humane's Imran Chaudhry demoed how the AI pin could project a caller ID when there was an incoming call, among other nifty features like summarizing your day's worth of emails and identifying foods and their nutritional values. The device, expected to be powered by GPT-4, the AI pin will be able to tap into several AI tools to help you throughout the day. That's in contrast to how we rely on different apps on our phones. The Verge also reports that the AI pin's operating system will be called Cosmos, in honor, it's Carl Sagan's birthday. That was the name of his show. Anyway, and the device, maybe that's an accident, but they're announcing this on Carl Sagan's birthday. Might be an accident. And the device will ship with 2 magnetic clips that double as battery packs. Interesting. Humane calls them battery boosters, and they're meant to keep the wearable latched onto your shirt and other surfaces as it projects pertinent information onto the palm of your hand, or scans surroundings for your context-based questions. When one battery dies, you can simply swap in the second one for a quick revival. Some of the leaked details of the AI pen include its built-in personic speaker and the ability to connect to Bluetooth headphones. In parentheses, it says the omission of this would be a big head scratcher. A trust light that emits whenever the wearable is recording audio or video, and a built-in touchpad for physical inputs. To learn more about the wearable's functionality, battery life, and exactly how Humane decides to pitch its future of mobile computing during the official unveiling today at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, so approximately 5.5 hours from now. Stay tuned for the ZNet for more. ZNet. Okay, that's it. That's your story on the future of cell phones. It's just going to be a pin you wear on your pocket. You just project it onto your hand to look at yours. You're going to see people doing this. All right, man.
We're finally going to enter the cyber dystopia that we've always wanted.
We're all going to be just complete doofuses forever and ever. Yay! Let's spin the
Yep.
Let's spin the Squeal of Fortune and see what we got. Not that I
all
can
right.
see it, but spin
it's
it
on
anyway.
the screen now. We've only got 4 contenders left. Time to spin the Squeal of Fortune. And spinning.
It sounded synced here. I don't know if it was or that way.
We got Carlos de Oliveira.
Oliveira, the IT guy. All right.
The IT guy.
I think that's right. All right, your story.
Okay. My next story is about Turkey. This is by Euronews with AP. Sky-high inflation and currency collapse have hit the economy hard, while Erdogan has eroded rights and freedoms. Hüseyin Buyukdag says he loves Turkey and his job as a teacher. But with the rampant economic crisis and growing repression in his country, he and his wife had decided to try and find a better life in Germany. They are among a growing number of young and educated people looking to leave Turkey under an increasingly authoritarian president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. After Erdogan secured a third term in office by May elections, things are unlikely to change, says Buyukdag. Even if I don't want this, even if I hate this, I will leave this beautiful country, the 27-year-old English teacher told the Associated Press. Buyukdag and his wife, a nurse, live in an impoverished southeastern province in Cernak. Their state jobs bring the roughly $1,640 a month, just over the official poverty line of €1,462 a month. It's enough to make ends meet, but far short for what's needed in big cities like Istanbul or the capital Ankara, and nowhere enough for a young couple to save or start a family. Turkey has been hit hard by economic crisis in recent years. The official annual inflation rate stood at 61% last month, though some economists believe the real figure is double that number, and the lira has plunged in value. Experts previously told Euronews Erdogan's unorthodox understanding of economic policy was behind the country's woes, though they pointed to other significant factors. Nearly 1/3 of Turkey's population is currently at risk of poverty or social exclusion, according to the recent report by the Turkish Statistical Institute. For many, one way out is through education visas, to study abroad, or work permits. Turkstat, the government's statistics bureau, said that 139,000 Turkish citizens left the country in 2022, compared to the 100,000 in 2021. Those aged 25 to 29 formed the biggest group. The numbers are a significant increase from the 77,000 Turks who left in 2020, when the coronavirus pandemic was at its peak. Sociologist Besim Delaloglu attributes some of the exodus of the uppermost educated layers of society to a democratic erosion. I do not have the impression that this migration will be reversed without decreasing polarization in Turkey, he said. Most likely to leave a medical professional and IT specialist, Delaloglu said, but also highly trained individuals from all sectors. In 2022, more than 2,600 doctors applied for the necessary documentations from the Turkish Medical Association to be able to practice outside the country. Physicians mostly cited small salaries, grueling work conditions, and an uptick in violence by the disgruntled patients as reasons for their decision. In one of his speeches last year, an angry Erdogan said all doctors who wanted to can go ahead and leave. That's a great thing for a leader to tell doctors. You can leave, we don't need you. We'll patch up ourselves. We'll do our own brain surgery. He later softened his tone, saying that those who left should return as Turkey holds the promise of a bright future. Many other Turks prefer to stay, even with an increasingly authoritarian country. I can understand that people who are leaving. Some things really need to change, said Fatma Zehra Ekski, a 20-year-old student from Istanbul who says she is a reluctant supporter of Erdogan. But if we leave because we are not comfortable here, then there will be no one left here to change things. Serap Ligin, a 26-year-old copywriter in Istanbul, said she grew up with values of secular Turkey and its founder, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. Leaving is not a solution. On the contrary, I think we need to stay here and fight, she said. Of course, I found it interesting that it's the men who are running away and the women who are staying in this article. We don't have the actual demographics of who's actually leaving. They just said 100,000 people left last year, but that doesn't tell us what percentage of what. But it's interesting that they interviewed men who are leaving and women who are staying, right? It's not like they did one woman, one man for both sides. They just specifically, all the men that they interviewed are leaving the country and all the women who are staying are staying. The growing discontent becomes as Turkey marks the 100th anniversary of Atatürk's proclamation of a secular republic, following the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. For his part, Erdogan has heralded the next era as a century of Turkey, promising to make Turkey a global power. Maybe by himself, because it looks like everyone else is leaving. That's our story on Turkey and the brain drain, as all the educated people are like, wait a minute, I'm too smart to live here and in making just above the poverty line. I'm getting out of here. Your story.
Right, and more news about people that supposedly have brains. Ivanka Trump, if you heard yesterday in a courtroom in New York. This is from CNN, first story. We're kind of combined two stories that really aren't that long. So this is by Jeremy Herb, Lauren DeVal, and Kara Scanley, for as much as I use it. Ivanka Trump's appearance, this is CNN. Ivanka Trump's appearance Wednesday was a highly anticipated conclusion of unprecedented 8 days of witness testimony, included defendant Trump and 3 of his adult children. Yes, he's breeding. The AG office rested its case after hearing from the eldest Trump daughter, who is pressed about her role in securing loans from the Trump organization and a penthouse apartment she leased from her father. The AG focused on Deutsche Bank loan negotiations. Ivanka was questioned at length by Louis Solomon, a lawyer and attorney with the Attorney General's office, about the financing of the loans for the Doral Golf Resort and Spa in Florida through Deutsche Bank, which has a big old money laundering operation in Germany, basically. But that's not the story we're going to report on. She didn't really squeal on him. She just said, I don't know anything. I'm just a silly, dumb blind. Ooh. That's what her little act was. We're going with another guy who's been laying low. It is Carlos de Oliveira, the Mar-a-Lago employee indicted with Trump in the classified documents case. Who is he? This is according to Forbes.com. Carlos de Oliveira, 56. This is actually a pretty old article. This guy's been laying low. It's from August. Carlos de Oliveira, 56, was employed as a property manager at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort starting in January 2022, before which he worked at several other jobs at the resort, including as a valet, according to the indictment. According to local news station WP-TV, de Oliveira's neighbors described him as a longtime Mar-a-Lago employee and a nice guy who kept to himself and played golf. According to the indictment, de Oliveira and Walt Nauta, the Trump aide, who's also been indicted, were caught on surveillance cameras in June last year moving around 30 boxes of documents at Mar-a-Lago. De Oliveira later allegedly spoke to the IT director, unless I misidentified him as the IT director. He's just another stupid gopher who's going down for Trump. Probably getting some kickback somewhere down the road. We'll see. De Oliveira later allegedly spoke to the IT director at Mar-a-Lago and informed him that the boss wanted the surveillance footage held on servers at the resort deleted. Destroying evidence. De Oliveira also allegedly helped Nada and several other people load up Trump's boxes on a plane that flew Trump and his family north for the summer. De Oliveira has also been accused of draining the resort's pool in October last year, which resulted in flooding the room that contains the servers holding the surveillance footage. Mar-a-Lago property manager has also been accused of making false statements to the FBI while he was being questioned about handling documents. After the FBI discovered classified documents at Mar-a-Lago in August last year, Nada attempted to gauge De Oliveira's loyalty to Trump by speaking to a valet at the resort. Nada said someone wanted to make sure that the 56-year-old was good, according to the indictment. Valet responded that De Oliveira was loyal and he would not do anything to affect his relationship with Trump. Trump then called De Oliveira and told him that he would get him an attorney. So De Oliveira has been summoned to appear. This is old news, so we're going to cover that. So yeah. Hey there, Carlos. You know you're going to be going to prison for some rich guy who's not going to do any time? And also this, if he does do any time, it's going to be one of them golf resort type prisons. While your cellmate's going to be making goo eyes at you 24/7. Hi, you're kind of cute. I like the way you wear that orange jumpsuit, Carlos. I want me some of that. That's your life. That's your future. Turn on Trump. Turn on him now. Back to you.
Okay.
Is that harsh enough?
We've got big news coming out of Hollywood.
Oh.
That's right. The writer strike ended last month, I believe, and now the actor strike ending. The studios have finally reached an agreement with all the actors in SAG-AFTRA. This is by David Morquand with Agencies on Your News Culture. The Hollywood Actors Union has reached a tentative deal to give its members bigger residuals, bigger repeat fees, and crucially a bigger say in the use of AI technology. The Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, has called an end to the actor strike that first begun in July. The strike now comes to an end at 118 days, the longest in a 90-year history. So the writers have longer union strikes than the actors. The actors don't have very long strikes. If this was the longest, 118 days, right? SAG-AFTRA took to the social media to announce the end of the strike, writing, "Our TV Theatrical Negotiating Committee voted unanimously to approve a tentative agreement with AMPTP as of 12:01 a.m. Pacific on November 9th. Our strike is officially suspended and all picket locations are closed. We are thrilled and proud to tell you that today, your TV Theatrical Negotiating Committee voted unanimously to approve a tentative agreement with AMPTP. We will be in touch in the coming days with information about celebration gatherings around the country." SAG-AFTRA also notes that the agreement with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers comes with a 3-year contract valued at over $1 billion. That includes the above pattern minimum compensation increases, unprecedented provisions for the consent and compensation that will protect members from the threat of AI, a streaming participation bonus, and more. So if they're put on streaming platforms, they still get paid, because before, a lot of people were not getting paid when they were being streamed. Like, for example, Friends, which was watched a lot on Netflix, those actors in Friends were not getting paid for the residuals for those repeat playing. However, SAG-AFTRA has noted that the full details of the agreement will not be provided until the tentative agreement is reviewed by the National Board, which will take days. SAG-AFTRA actors strike began on 13th of July following a breakdown in negotiations between AMPTP and SAG-AFTRA over the union's demands for the protection against the threat of AI, fair compensation, and more. The July strikes coincided with the Writers Guild of America strike that began in May and ended in late September. It marked the first time in 60 years that both unions were on strike at the same time. Hollywood has been a near standstill for months following both the actors and writer strikes. They have caused major disruptions, with several productions put on hold, including Deadpool 3, Gladiator 2, Blade, the Disney Marvel remake, Dune Part 2, Fantastic Four, another remake, and Disney's live-action Moana, Paddington in Peru, and recently Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2, to name but a few. As well as film delays, Hollywood stars have not been attending events such as film premieres while the strike has been taking place, as union rules prohibit them from taking any work including promotion or publicity for projects. Now, with SAG-AFTRA and AMPTP having reached a tentative agreement, the long-stalled beginning of Oscar campaign season for the many actors finally began. That's probably what put pressure on them, huh? The Oscars. They're like, we can't. No, you guys have to show up at the Oscars, and we're not showing up at the Oscars unless you agree with what we want. Okay, we'll agree with this stuff. Please show up at the Oscars. That's where we make all our money. That's why people buy our films and go to the theater to watch our films, because it's basically a huge ad. So now. Until now, the campaign largely has been fronted by directors, craftspeople, and recently, the end of the WGA strike, the writers. So that's your update here from Hollywood. Get ready to watch Deadpool 3, I guess, and this day in history.
Cool. Guess we're gonna have all them remakes and comic book movies and be churning them out like nobody's business. All them lazy actors get back to work now. Get off your couch. Okay. This day in history. 1799. The coup of 1819 Brumaire began in Paris, marking Napoleon's rise to power and the end of the French Revolution. In 1877, Indian poet and philosopher Sir Muhammad Ibn Dal, he was known for his influential efforts to direct his fellow Muslims toward the establishment of a separate Muslim state, an aspiration that was eventually realized in the country of Pakistan. Well, this guy I just described was born in Sialkot, India on this day in 1877. In 1888, Jack the Ripper, an infamous killing spree in Whitechapel district of East End, came to an end. As far as we know, it came to an end. I don't know. 1922, American singer and film actress Dorothy Dandridge was born. She was the first black woman to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress. 1922, Albert Einstein won the 1921 Nobel Prize for Physics. And why did he win it in 1922? Because I guess they canceled it because of the pandemic. The Spanish flu, I would think. Nobel Prize Committee had delayed awarding the 21 Physics Prize until 22. In 1923, Alice Coachman, the first African-American woman to win an Olympic gold medal, was born. 1923, the Beer Hall Push, that same day. Beer Hall Push, led by that old Hitler guy, ended after 16 Nazis were killed in a march towards Marienplatz in the center of Munich, Germany. Marienplatz, did we go? We didn't go to Munich, so we gotta hit that place next time. 1938, beginning of this night called the more tragedy news, called the Kristallnacht or Crystal Night, or the Night of Broken Glass. Some 48 hours of Nazi-orchestrated anti-Jewish violence erupted throughout Germany and Austria, resulting in the destruction and vandalization of synagogues and Jewish businesses, in the deaths of 91 Jews. So another tragic anniversary. 1943, the United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration was created by a 44-nation agreement. 1953, Cambodia became independent from France. 1984, Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street was released in American theaters, introducing moviegoers to the villain Freddy Krueger. Considered a horror classic, it spun off a number of sequels. 1985, Garry Kasparov, who was 22, defeated Anatoly Karpov to become the youngest male world chess champion. 1996, Evander Holyfield scored a technical knockout of Mike Tyson to win the heavyweight boxing championship for the third time. This was not the one where Tyson bit his ear. That was the next one, then a rematch after that, where Tyson decided to snack up. 2004, Swedish writer and activist Stieg Larsson died from a heart attack in Stockholm the year before Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The first installment was internationally acclaimed Millennium series was published. Poor guy got internationally acclaimed for a series of books that he wrote and never saw success. In 1989, this is our featured event, the opening of the Berlin Wall. We were there. Longest symbol of, not when it happened, of course, longest symbol of the Cold War, and the Berlin Wall, erected in 1961 and eventually extending 28 miles to divide the western and eastern sectors of Berlin, was opened by the East German government on this day in 1989, and then people just started tearing it down not long after. Feature biography, Dylan Thomas, Welsh poet, was born on this day, October 27th. No, he was not born on this day. He was born on October 27th, 1914 in Swansea, Wales. Died on this day in 1953 at the age of 39. He was 39 and he wrote Rage Against the Dying of the Light. He wasn't even that old. Jeez, man. I'm almost twice his age. I thought he was like 100. Okay. He committed suicide, by the way. Carl Sagan was born on this day in 1934. So happy birthday, Carl Sagan. We already mentioned that. We already mentioned that. That's why Cosmos is probably going to be called Cosmos. Dorothy Dandridge recovered. Spiro Agnew, disgraced Vice President of the United States, was born on this day in 1918. And our last one, Hedy Lamarr, Austrian-born American actress and inventor, it should say here, who invented free copy. And what national day calendar it is? It is Microtia Awareness Day. Do you know what Microtia is? You don't? Okay. World Adoption Day, it's World Freedom Day, and it's National Louisiana Day, along with being National Scrapple Day. We know what scrapple is. Here in Maryland, they just take the scrapings on the floor of the pig slaughterhouse and mix them with some flour and some corn, fry it up in a pan. Yeah, that's good stuff. Microtia is a... Oh, there goes a apple bag in the middle of it. Microtia occurs when the ear or ears do not fully develop during the first trimester of pregnancy. Those born in Microtia face hearing loss, facial challenges, and longing for social acceptance. Well, don't we all? Okay, that's your story. I can't hear you. Maybe you had your mic off.
It's not my story. It's the end.
What's the end?
At the end of the show. That's right. We've done it. We've covered our news. We haven't done it in a while, but reminder, if you ever find a news story you want us to cover, you can tell us, and we'll cover it on Fridays, because Friday is basically our huge news dump before the weekend. And we will see you then on Friday to dump that news on you before the weekend. Here, Allison from the Netherlands.
This is Roger from the United States. Reminding you to like and subscribe. And tune in tomorrow again for some more of our Friday news dump. On tomorrow, which is going to be the Marine Corps birthday, and also they're going to celebrate Veterans Day in the United States by giving everybody a day off. So, we'll see you tomorrow. That's it for today on Comprehensive News of Planet Earth for November 9th, 2023, or 1923. If you're 110 years old. On Before Coffee. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.